2021 has been an interesting expose for smartphone technology. Devices coming out of 2021 are just amazing. And simply, the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra, which was released in January 2021, with its twin brothers, the S21 and the S21 Plus, happens to be the best smartphone that anyone can have their monies on. In this video, we are looking at the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra, and after about 7 months of its release, how it has fared, what it is. This is ABEiiKU. A subscription to the channel will be appreciated. The S21 Ultra has a huge 6.8 inches dynamic AMOLED display, which is a WQHD plus display. That is 4040p display, and that means that it has a peak brightness of 1500 nits. This is the brightest display you can ever get in the market. It's really bright, and I mean it's bright, especially when you're in the dark. You can feel your eyes being burnt by it. And so this is the best display that you can have in any smartphone. It has a 120 Hz refresh rate, meaning that the refresh rate and the scrolling of this smartphone is really smooth. And I mean, it is really smooth. So if you look at a 60 Hz panel, what we have in regular phones, if you compare it to the 120 Hz, you realize that there's a huge difference. The scrolling effect is one that you cannot compromise on it. This display is really exceptional. It is HDR10 plus display, meaning that watching movies on YouTube, Netflix, it will become an enjoyable experience. So the build on this smartphone is remarkable. It is a mesmeric experience of engineering that you cannot simply fathom or come to a conclusion. This is the best smartphone that I've ever held. The build quality is really incredible. And I mean, if you look at it, how Samsung has been able to achieve this kind of build on its smartphone is really amazing. It has a glass at the back, and that is Gorilla Glass Victus. And so this one is fingerprint non-magnet. It means that when you hold it, it is textured in such a way that you cannot even see fingerprints, or your hands cannot pick particles on it. And the front is also built from Gorilla Glass Victus. This is the hardest glass that can be used, or that is used in building premium smartphones. And it is sandwiched between aluminium frame, which is much more a very durable material which Samsung has used in building this kind of device. It is really an amazing build. Also, late 2020, I made a video that summarized all the leaks that I got my hands on, or I got to read from the likes of Frost Young, Max Weinberg, and so on. And in that leak, or in that kind of write-up that I did for Pen Media, I made a critical look at what the software of this smartphone would be. Now, the software of this smartphone out of the box is Android 11, what is built on Samsung's One UI 3.0, which have been upgraded to 3.1. And so Samsung One UI, I'm saying it's my favorite UI that I've ever used in any smartphone. It is really remarkable how Samsung has moved from TouchWiz to One UI or UI in a short span of space, and giving its consumers with one of the best experience. I don't need to install a third-party launcher like Nova's launcher on it, which I used to have it on my previous smartphone that I was using. And this one I don't need to install it because it is the best that you can get. This one comes with either an Exynos 2100 version, which is a 5nm, or the Snapdragon 888 chipset, which is also a 5nm. But what I have is the Snapdragon 888 chipset model, and this is very fast. Storage on this device ranges from 128GB to 512GB. And the model that I am using is a Snapdragon variant, and which basically is a 12GB RAM and a 128GB internal storage, and which actually is very fast because it has a UFS 3.1 storage capacity, which it is fast in storage of things you want to get in your phone. Now with this one comes a 5000 milliamperes battery, which is very huge, and this actually is the biggest battery that Samsung has put in it. Premium, and I meant to state again, premium smartphone. Samsung smartphone like the A series and other M series and F series, which are specifically meant for other markets like Indian markets and those of the European and Eastern Asian countries. That is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the premium top level, the highest, the flagship of Samsung. This is a 5000 mAh. You are going to get more than a day per my usage. If I'm using the 120 Hz display regular on it, the adaptive refresh rate on it, I'm able to get probably like a 10 hours usage experience, which is more than enough for my usage. But if I put it on the 60 Hz, it means I'm getting more than a day usage. I'm getting about 20-30% usage in the next day, and which is quite thrilling for me because I have never used any phone that has this kind of longevity in terms of performance of battery life. Now this comes with a 25 watts Samsung charger, which is downgraded to 15 watts when you are charging the speed. But it is a wireless charging. It has what? A reverse wireless charging, which means that you can place a device which has that technology in it to charge it. So when you have maybe from S10 series going, you can charge it against this. And I remember when I was using the S10 5G, a friend of mine, ABEiiKU, he actually charged his phone because his phone was about 3% low, and he placed it at the back of my phone, which was around 90%, and was able to get about 20% juice in it to carry home. So that technology is actually essential, and I think that having this kind of huge battery life and great spec in terms of the RAM makes it a glorious phone that anyone can actually purchase with their money. The essentials on this smartphone is what makes it a rich experience for me, because it makes a rich experience and an overwhelming kind of surgeon that I have with this smartphone, because it's one, it has a 5G built in it, and mine is a T-Mobile version, and it has a Wi-Fi 6, which is the latest band that you can have. It also has stereo speakers, one on the front, so there's one at the top here, the very top, just up against the control camera on top. Then there's one also at the base, at the bottom, which is very fine speaking, and this is really surprising how loud this can be. Now let me give you a test audio of it, and then you just listen to it and give me your verdict if this is not actually remarkable. Listen to it.
A mountain full of gold, double that will not be enough to satisfy the desire of a single soul. Black and I'm bold, take your L and hold. Now we never fold, your flex is getting old. This is the new world order. The things that are essential are acquired with little bother. What's the test for fame? Please give him a little water. A few that did me wrong, I wrote you a song. Memories of you, I kept all of them on the tape.
Yeah, shout out to your master. So there's also Dolby's Atmos, which if you have any Samsung kind of device, you know you have it there in it. I had it in the S10 5G, which I'm recording this video on, and then I also have it in my Samsung TV, which actually produces rich sound experience. It makes it like you're in a movie theater. So Dolby's Atmos on this is very, very excellent. It also is certified IP68 water and dust resistant. It measures 1.5 meters deep in water and up to 30 minutes, which can just be, I'm not saying that go and swim in a water or in a pool. Ghana's water is highly correct. Really, if you are walking around, if you are walking in the rain, if the rain is really beating you and you have this phone on you don't feel. I was using the S7 Edge and it had a broken screen, the back was also broken. I still walk in the rain, I still didn't pull it out when it's raining, and I didn't experience even a single hitch or glitch with it. So this, the IP68 resistant, what does is resistant on this will give you a great kind of experience where you'll be so comfortable and believe using this kind of smartphone. Camera on this smartphone is actually the best smartphone camera you can have to date. One, and I'm not saying that it is just the best in terms of all aspects or every area. The iPhone 12 still, and I mean still, and I'm repeating it again, still has the best video in any smartphone camera. But the Samsung S21 Ultra takes it to a different experience or a notch. It means that overall experience, if you want to have a smartphone camera that you can carry anywhere at a certain point in time, this is the smartphone that you need to get, because it has a 180 megapixel main sensor, a 12 megapixel ultra wide, 10 megapixel periscope lens, and 10 megapixel periscope also lens. One is 5 times and the other one is 3 times. So what it means is that in spite of all this, it means that you are going to get one of the most remarkable videos recording, still photography. But this is actually the best in terms of stills. You want to take a snapshot, take a picture, this is the best. It records 8K video. And I mean 8K in smartphone is not a gimmick. It is not a gimmick. I know within the tech community, a lot of pundits actually make the conclusion that 8K in smartphone is a gimmick, because even 8K in cameras, DSLRs and that of mirrorless is even a gimmick, or it does not really work well. But 8K in smartphone is not a gimmick, because it is an innovative way for people to determine, for smartphone companies to demonstrate to consumers that a lot can be done for smartphones in terms of what its capability for the camera. Now it shoots 4K at 60 and 30 frames per second. It shoots 1080p at 60 and 30p of 20 frames per second if you put it in a pro mode. It also has a 40 megapixel as the front camera, which is the TL, which is just this kind of punch hole, and actually make the screen look like full screen experience or bezel-less experience. Content creators would even want to use the back camera, but if you want to create content on your own, it means that you have a huge camera sensor on the front that you can use in recording the video and get a rich experience. Colors of this smartphone actually happens to be in specifically at launch it had only 2 plain variants, which is the Phantom Silver and the Phantom Black. What I'm using, or what I have, the model I have, is the Phantom Black, which is more like the executive sort of color. It doesn't pick fingerprints at all. When you're using it, you don't even need to use a case or something like that, but just for protection sake, so we might use a case. The price of this smartphone at 128 gigabytes base model when it was launched was $1,099, and that was approximately around 7,000 cedis. But when we had the conference with Samsung at their launch online, it actually occurred to us that Ghana's model, or the model that was specifically meant for the Ghanaian market, was actually starting from 256 gigabytes. And that 256 gigabytes at that time, when it was launched in January, was 7,499 cedis. That is Samsung, what Samsung gave to us. Although now I don't know the price currently at Samsung store, but what I know is that online you can get some for around, let's say, $900 to $1,000 for the Ultra or even beyond that, if you want to get the higher variant, that is the 12 gig RAM or 16 gig RAM and the 512 gig internal space, you are going to pay close to $1,250, and that is really an expensive phone. Now the 128 gig that I have here, according to my source, where ACN knows, ACN, yes, he's the one that actually got me this model, and his store actually will be selling this 128 gigabytes 12 gig RAM Snapdragon version to be around 6,800 or 7,200 cedis, between 6,800 to 7,200 cedis, and that's kind of quite huge. And not everyone can get this; just a few people can have their hands on it. But you have the money. If you have the money that you want to spend on a smartphone, that you're looking at longevity, you are looking at the future, what it presents, what it portends. I don't think that any phone at this moment can even go toe to toe with this smartphone. This is a pinnacle of all smartphones in 2021, and so I expect that even if you buy it, it's a huge investment that you've made. The iPhone 12 is a no-brainer to this. It doesn't come close to this. The iPhone 12 Pro is actually its own category. It's with the Note 20 Ultra, which was launched last year. But this is a very expensive device, really expensive, like 7,000 cedis plus. It's really expensive, and so if you are buying it, fine, it's cool, it's technology. But if you're a tech freak, like most people who are walking around who are tech freak, not me, because I am just an ordinary poor village boy who actually is just lucky to have his hands on it and he's using it as his daily driver. This is my phone for the year, and this is what I'm using for now. I'll be sending this one back, and so this is what you'll be seeing more often. This is what I'll be shooting most of my videos on. So if you are new on this channel, please do well to subscribe to the channel, give a thumbs up to the video, give me your comments in the comment box. Let me find out how you also think and what you also would want to do if you get this kind of smartphone. On subscribing to this channel. This is ABEiiiKU. See you in the next video. Peace.